my album that's about to come out, it's about that. It's about um, understanding that everybody goes through the same things, and that instead of showing hate on it, we should understand each other more and show love on it. There's a version of you that wish they was making what you're making now. And now you're here and you're telling me that you're good, but you're not great. But there's a version of you that felt like where you're at right now is great. It was like every time I reach a pinnacle, I see another pinnacle. It's like you don't really care about her body count. You care about being associated with the people that are connected to her body count. You care about the representation of what your woman looks like when you walk in with her. But to me, any man that is like worried about an actual body count, about niggas that they don't know, I feel like that's an insecure man.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Rico Hundo back at 8 at the table. We got some dope ass conversations today that y'all about to be a witness to. Now we got Holiday, the golden child. She's gonna be in here doing her golden child things. And then we got my boy Reason popped up on us. What's going on, my boy?
What's the deal, bro? I'm in New York on Cali time still, trying to, hang in there and whatnot. Yeah.
It's all right. We're gonna give you a Red Bull. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hang in there.
You already spinning. You see them waves? He outside.
So go ahead and tell our audience, where they can find you at, what you got going on, anything coming up, the whole thing.
I got 2 singles out right now, At It Again and You Better. Those are the 2 singles leading into my sophomore album with the label. My album is called Porches. It drops on the 28th. Super dope album about love, bringing people together. And I'm just excited to get it out. It's been a minute since I dropped the album. My last one was 2020. And so I feel like I'm long overdue.
So let me ask you this question, right?
Yeah.
I don't know when the audience is going to see this, but off that album, when it comes out, what is your personal favorite song on that album?
My personal favorite song is Too Much. It's about one of my friends growing up. He was a top 10 running back in the state, had every scholarship offer you could think of. Ended up getting into an altercation. Somebody that he knew killed someone. He got arrested for it, but where we come from, you can't tell, of course. So he sat in jail for a year, lost all his scholarships, lost the entire thing. And the story sounds like it's about him, but what it's really about at the end of it, when you hear the record, is that when I talked to him on the phone while he was in jail, he told me that he was fine. And it's really about the fact that we cover up, like, as men, specifically black men, we don't like to say when we're going through stuff. We don't like to say when we're hurting and in trauma and whatnot. And he just told me he was fine. And you can't be fine. Your entire life is flipped upside down. So that's probably my favorite record on the project.
Yo, I don't know if I think it's God that's just aligning this whole episode, because I literally just put on Threads. Shout out to Threads, you know what I'm saying? I just threaded today that, my bad habit is I be saying I'm okay knowing I damn well ain't.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's something that's just been conditioned in you. You know what I mean? Like, you're taught, if you, as a kid, like my dad used to tell me, like, life ain't fair, get over it. Like, you're taught if you express yourself and say that you're going through things, it makes you weak or less of a man.
I feel like it's God, because we just recently lost somebody in our family. He's
I'm sorry to hear
19
that.
and he killed himself.
That's right.
And he shot himself, and on the back of the obituary is a picture of him and his friend who 6 months prior killed himself as well. He's a rapper, well-known rapper, R.I.P. Dot. He just got signed, young boy. And so I think like you said, the pastor in the church was saying, we come from this culture of what happens in the house stays in the house.
Yep.
And because that has been so conditioned into us, when things are happening, we don't want to go tell people what's going on the outside of our household and our unit. But I think the men, starting with you and your music, this is why music is so important. And I wish that we could just get back to artists being intentional with their music, because it speaks volumes. It's here to change the game. It's here to be those gems and advices, because the kids are not going to go to therapists. They're going to go to the music.
They're going to go to the music.
So you having it in your music and saying, hey, this is a safe space that if it's not okay and you're not okay, reach out to somebody. Even being a mentor. This is why I have my group Top 20, because I mentor so many young girls who they're going through these life experiences that I've already went through, and they don't have nobody to talk to. They feel like they are alone. They feel like they want to run to social media. They want to run to strangers or people that may not have your best interest to guide you to help. They're really preying on the fact that you need help.
Yeah,
And
that's real.
and can you guys just touch on that? Just I know you got to go, but
Yeah.
can you guys just touch on the I guess therapy is such a negative word that within our community people use the word therapy. Maybe we should change the word therapy when people go see someone. Maybe it's what's that thing when you process? You're just meeting somebody to help you process some of the stuff that you have within you. You
Yeah.
may not know how to process it because just the word in our community is bad.
I think we gotta
So
make
I
it
commend
cool,
you for
Alan.
that song. I
Yeah.
definitely commend you for that song.
Yeah, I think it's really just about talking about it. Like, you ever had a kid that's crying, and then the kid, the kid's crying, they can't even control themselves, and then you ask them what's wrong, and then they say what's wrong. And then after they say what's wrong, they stop crying.
Uh-huh.
It's because even though you didn't fix it, they just wanted to talk about it. And that's still how you are as an adult. There's sometimes that you just literally just need to be able to talk about it. But if you feel like it makes you less of a person to talk about it, you're not going to say anything, and you're just going to hold it in, and that doesn't help you in any type of way.
Reason I came in here enraged, upset. And everybody's like, "Are you sure you can film today? Are you sure you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm okay. I just need to talk about it.
Talk about it.
I just need to say it and get it out of my chest, because if I don't and I walk around like I'm unbothered by it because I'm so tough and I got this chip on my back that everybody already looks at me and think you got it all together.
Yeah.
How dare you cry? You look soft." And it's like, I'm okay with looking soft. I'm okay with not being okay. I'm okay. See, I think people are still walking in their trauma, and the part of walking in your trauma is not being able to accept when you need help. You cannot grow if you can't get to a point where I need help.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, Holiday, let's go ahead and jump right into our topic for today.
It's an incredible thing. We are talking to Reason earlier, and he explained that he feels like, I don't want to use the word purpose, but I don't have a better word. But part of his purpose in his music is to bring people together.
Yes.
He feels like if you're from LA hood, or you're from a Bronx hood, or you're from a Cleveland hood or Chicago hood, we all one. And it's just like, I thought that was so refreshing to hear someone speaking in truth in a time when everybody is just trying to do kind of like the same thing. And he's like, I want to do something to bring people together. So you want to...
Yeah. I mean, he got it specifically like right. It was the thought process that we all go through the same shit. Like, I didn't grow up where you grow up. You don't grow up. You didn't grow up where I grew up. But I'm positive we have similar things that we went through in our childhood. We probably ate similar food, drank similar shit. Niggas didn't have money. They got the Shasta Coca-Cola instead of the regular. Like, everybody has those things. And so for me, my album that's about to come out, it's about that. It's about understanding that everybody goes through the same things, and that instead of showing hate on it, we should understand each other more and show love on it. And in today's time on social media, the moment somebody do something, we point the finger at them and we blame them for it, not knowing what that person is actually going through. You get what I'm saying? So that was really where like the inspiration for my next album that's coming out came from.
What's the name of your next album?
Porches. Like,
Porches? Yeah,
Porches. Like, on LA, we have porches. In New York, they got stoops.
Porches.
Yeah,
okay, my mom from North Carolina. She left her porch.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's metaphorical for like your environment, where like that's where you learn all your shit at. It's not necessarily on the
and
porch.
You see everything.
You see everything.
My grandmother sees everything sitting on her rocking chair on the porch.
Exactly. And when you was growing up, you, even if you wasn't specifically on the porch, you was outside in the front yard, wherever, and that was where you was getting your experiences from, learning how you want to talk, dress, walk, all of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's about. Yeah.
I love that. You choose your own path.
Exactly.
But you are easily manipulated by the things that you see.
We're products of our environment.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, accents prove that. Like, if you're not a product of your environment, why do we talk the way we talk? You know what I mean? From where we from. You can't help it. You can't grow up in LA and just naturally talk like a nigga that's from Harlem. You can't, you know what I mean? It's not even possible.
But do you think some people, being the comment of like a product of your environment,
use it as an excuse.
Using it as an
1000%,
excuse, and so to somebody like myself, I guess I've been told I have no empathy.
Yeah.
And I don't think I don't have empathy. I just think that I'm a product of you change the narrative.
Yeah.
You control the key. You control the role. So I'm just so tired of people telling me about their daddy wasn't there, their mama wasn't there. Even the most dramatic of situations, somebody molested me. I'm not diminishing what happened to you, and I'm not making one trauma bigger than the other. But I feel like in this world, everybody has so many fucking excuses, excuse my French, about how to get to the finish line, how to get to the success story. And I hate to be so
My album that's about to come out, it's about that. It's about understanding that everybody goes through the same things, and that instead of showing hate on it, we should understand each other more and show love on it. There's a version of you that wish they was making what you're making now. And now you're here and you're telling me that you're good, but you're not great. But there's a version of you that felt like where you're at right now is great. It was like every time I reach a pinnacle, I see another pinnacle. It's like you don't really care about her body count. You care about being associated with the people that are connected to her body count. You care about the representation of what your woman looks like when you walk in with her. But to me, any man that is like worried about an actual body count, about niggas that they don't know, I feel like that's an insecure man.
cliche,
Yeah.
but it is about the journey, not the destination, because you're gonna learn all these great things in the journey. That once you get to the destination, there's no more fun. There's no more race to run.
Yeah, no, that's a fact.
There's no more sweat.
It all comes from the experience of it, and I get where you're coming from, and I agree with you. There are a lot of people that use it as excuses. My thing I would say to you and challenge you to do is I agree with you as far as people using it as an excuse to be able to stay in one spot, stay stagnant, you know what I mean, not change the narrative and whatnot. I would challenge, though, to just change the messaging and not stop making excuses, but I hear you, you know, but you should try this. Like, that's what I'm speaking about. It's like, I hear you. This happened in your life. I hear you. This happened in your life. I hear you. This was your circumstances. However, like, you don't got to be...
How are we going to fix it?
Yeah, how are we going to fix it?
So there's this word I learned called
Yeah.
trauma bonding.
Mhm.
And people
I've done that
bond
for sure.
over their
Yeah.
over their trauma. Yes.
Yeah, for
you know what I
sure.
mean? Like, so the people who click up together are usually like the girls who didn't grow up with their daddies.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
click up because they
Yep.
can talk about niggas ain't shit.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Even when you get older, let's just take it a step further. When you get in your 20s and your 30s and you're dating in these so-called meaningful relationships,
Yeah.
the women who click up are usually the girls who have gotten cheated on their entire life. So they're besties with each other.
Yep.
We're going to
You can
hang
even
out.
You can even trauma bond with a side. I've trauma bonded with a side piece before because they going through something with they dude and I'm going through something with my girl, and we got a bond because of that. You know,
Because
what I mean?
of that. Isn't that
And we
toxic?
understand it. It is, but it's for the time. It feels like a release. It feels healthy.
feels
It
healthy.
genuinely feels healthy. Like I genuinely felt like this was my safe space. I was her safe space, and you know, I know the situation ain't gonna blow up because you can't blow up your shit. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it was.
But what about your guy friends from that standpoint, like that you made it out and they still there?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like they're constantly blaming you. Nah, bro, but you don't understand. I ain't have this help. Nah, bro, you don't understand. This person didn't open the door for me like they did you. Nah, bro,
Yeah.
this person didn't roll out the red carpet and give me water. That's why I'm still thirsty.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like, well, go dig a well.
The Jonah Lucas. Well, Holiday, just to catch you up. Basically, it was Jonah Lucas was at the head of the table. His best friend or a close friend that he grew up with was on the opposite end of the table. And it was like more so of like a celebratory dinner, right? And, you know, he got up, the best friend got up to make a speech. And in the speech, you know, he was saying how he was proud of him, how he's always been there for him. But then it turned into like, you know, this fact that he has some type of animosity towards him, and that, you know, and the reason for his animosity. And then, you know, to a point where it was exaggerated, but like it was imaginative that he had a gun to his head at the table, you know, saying like, I should kill you. You know what I'm saying? And then at the end of it, it all concludes with him saying, but at the end of the day, I'm still happy you made it, type of thing.
Yeah.
Right. So in my opinion, right, I said that they're both terrible friends. Right. When I look at the whole picture, and I'm like, you have 10 people at this table. If you watch the video, none of these people look like their relatives. Right. There might be a woman that you could arguably say is probably like his mother or some type of motherly figure in his life. The rest seem to be like business because they're different ethnicities. So this is the only person that's made it to your table. Now, if when you listen to it, and like, you know, as an artist, you listen to it. Like, you know, like a lot of people just watch the visuals, but when you're an artist and you listening and watching the visuals, I'm like, well, damn, why did he only get this little job? Why are you eating loaves while he's having crumbs and expecting for there not to be animosity? You know what I'm saying? Out of all the people in your life, you know, there's brothers, sisters, and if you didn't have brothers and sisters, you know, you have whoever is your best friend that you consider your family. Why is your family starving, but yet sitting at this table? You know, so like I think that if you're going to bring somebody along and keep them along, then they have to have a stable place. You know, he mentioned that, you know, I've been hurting. So like I appreciate that little job you got me, but I've been hurting. Can you give me like a couple 100,000? I wouldn't be mad, but then I'll be mad. Then he starts blowing up on why he be mad.
Yeah.
So
But it goes to what I think this is what they were talking about, like in the beginning, like as you walked in, they were saying that at what point do you stop giving yourself excuses or giving people excuse?
Yeah.
At what point does accountability kicks in?
Can I
Yeah.
Yo,
The camera's right there. Okay.
here's the crazy thing. Family, friends will drain you. And unfortunately, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink. And some people, this is my favorite saying in my family, some people just can't get right. You're going to give them a million opportunities. You're going to be like, okay, cool. You know what? I'm going to just use Shaq as an example. I wanted to go to school. They said that they can't school me in a classroom because I need 15 people in a classroom. We can't do anything less than that. So you know what Shaq did? He paid for everybody in his family, all his boys, called everybody up who want to get a master's because I need 15 people to sit in this classroom to learn this. Now, if I put you in this classroom to get this master's and you don't come out on the other end successful, that's not my fault. Now you're calling me 6 months later while everybody else is doing real estate, opening up new businesses, the money's flourishing. I'm not saying everything is going to be a success story because you may not be that person. You may need a couple of failures to finally get to a place of a win. Because like they said, you're going to get a million no's. You only need one yes. So maybe you just haven't gotten your yes yet, but that is not an excuse for you to, I brought you to the table. Now you got to keep yourself there. I got plenty of rapper friends, right? I'm an artist, right? I do music. I would love when I'm in the rooms with these big artists that have these billboards and these plaques for them to just jump on a song and give me a feature. Why not? You're okay with hanging around me. You're okay with inviting me to the great places. You're okay with putting me on the expensive yachts. You're okay with me being around here and there for the shopping sprees and things like that. But why won't you give me the real opportunity, right? That's to me. But to them, they're like, yo, I brought you in the room with Michael Rubin. You ain't do nothing with it. I brought you in the room with Oprah. You ain't do nothing with it. You want me to call her up and set up a direct meeting with her too? Come on now, bro. You doing a lot. So people are never going to be satisfied.
I mean,
Yeah, I was going to challenge you with that. Is do you feel like so you give somebody an opportunity and they squander it? So now you move the rest of your life and you like, why would I give somebody else an opportunity? Like people got to, you can lead the horse to water, but you can't force
I'm
them
not
to
giving the
drink.
same person multiple
So
opportunities.
that was my question. Do you because what a lot of people do is the same way we were talking about the excuses. What a lot of people do is they use that happened to one person as an excuse to not give nobody else opportunities.
No, but I'm talking about the same
Yeah.
person. I'm
Yeah.
talking about the same person. No. I might give John an opportunity, the same opportunity I gave Brittany, and Brittany does something differently with it. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying I won't fuck with John again, excuse my French, but I'm just gonna be a little bit more cautious because now when you get in a position of success and money and you finally are pursuing your dreams and doing all of that, you know how hard and long you work to get here.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I can't carry the same weight that I used to carry when I was hustling in the ground. Like my strength is not the same. I only have the mental capacity and the energy to be able to move forward now. Because anything else that's holding me back or draining me mentally, physically, or spiritually, I can't be, it's not conducive and I can't keep entertaining it.
but you do though.
Go ahead.
Because this is the thing. People, everybody, especially successful people, don't want to admit this. They use people as pets. Okay? That person is sitting there for you. That person is the only one that knows you. That person is the only one that really cares for you. Because when you're going through it with your label, when you're going through it with all the other people and you don't want to be in the public, the first person you call is the person that can't, succeed and persevere with that opportunity that they got. So now what happens is, how much is their presence worth to you? To a point where it's like, this is where the accountability has to come in. You can't lead every horse to water and make them drink, right? But you have to also understand, you also can't blame the horse for trying to attack you when they don't know how to drink when you brought them to the water out of their frustration. So now you're as liable for keeping them along in all of this limelight. If I know that you're struggling, you're my right-hand man for years, and every time we go out and I'm just covering the bill, right? And then when we get home, I go to my mansion, I have my driver drop you off in Newark.
Yep.
But that's weird.
But that's what's happening.
That's what's happening.
That's weird.
That's what I was
So
gonna- yeah,
then,
go ahead.
and Meek Mill said it best. If you don't feed your wolves, they're gonna put you on the menu. And the easiest way you can get out of exiled out of this world is through somebody close to you.
Because you never see it coming.
But
You never
I've
see it
also
coming.
seen I've been around the rappers when they first start and pop, right? When they don't got it, let's start from when they don't got it and they got 30 niggas around. They
Yeah.
they booked the first show, 30 people on stage, everybody's man, let's go. Now, when you start getting these budgets for these concerts, these events, these people are like, you can only have the +5. You can only bring the +2. You got to start narrowing down. Now you sit down with your team and say, what is everybody's role now? Because I can't afford to keep paying $2,200 for lunch, $2,200 for breakfast for a bunch of my homies because I want to feed the wolves. You understand? Y'all got to figure out what your job is around me.
But
That's not my place.
But
I'm
you're not
gonna
paying
help you.
attention to the situation. That's not the situation.
That's
And there's a thing like, wait, hold on. The situation isn't your homies. There's only 10 people at this table, and there's only one friend. This is not the homies. This is not your groupie friends. This is your only right hand that you got.
Okay, so you're saying that your right hand man. I'm just gonna take my best friend as an example. She's not in the same limelight and situation I am. She's a nurse. You know what I'm saying? Not to say she don't get money and all that stuff, but she's not hopping on private jets. She's not randomly just saying I can afford to do this. So when I have it, I splurge it to my friend. You understand what I'm saying? And never once do I think for a second that she's jealous that I'm winning or I'm making a bigger salary than her or whatever, because she's in a position also with the same opportunities. Now, it's one thing to drag your friend along, like you said, and have them around all this lavish stuff and knowing they're going back to the projects. It's no different than you living good and your mother's still in the projects. But I can give the best example where I'm at. I'm good, but I'm not great. Where I can retire my mother completely and say, don't work. So my mother is going to sometimes, and my family is going to see sometimes me experiencing things that I cannot allude to them. I can't take y'all on these lavish vacations that I'm always on. I can't. This is my lifestyle, and I'm not going to. I used to feel bad for that. Like, damn, I helped my mom out last month, but this month somebody invited me somewhere, and they're paying for it, or this is the opportunity for me. I can't continuously feel bad for those things. I can't always do for my family the way I would love to do for them when I'm in the position of a millions. You understand what I'm saying? And they just gonna have to understand that.
And I don't think you gotta do for everybody. I don't think that's the point or the goal. What I always say is, if it don't hurt you, you should do it. So for me, it's like how I feel is, if this is somebody that you love and care about, if it don't hurt you to do it, I think you should do it. If I have a best friend that wants to get into managing, if he wants to get into managing me, I'm gonna have a manager, and I'm gonna have my best friend tag along and shadow the manager. That way he can't hurt me because I have an actual manager. Once I know he can do the job, I'm going to put him in position. I think it's bullshit when people, not saying what you're saying is bullshit, but I think it's bullshit when people say that they can't have a family member or a friend or somebody, that they can't put them in position because they got other things going on.
Sometimes
because the rule
you
is
can.
just,
Sometimes family be foul.
but this one, and I agree. But what I'm saying is that if it doesn't hurt you, you should at least try it. I done had family members steal from me. That's still my cousin. Like, because at the end of the day, like,
You better than me.
that's what I'm saying. And for me, that's just me, because I know that he was going through shit. He ain't always been like this. Has been my cousin for my whole life. But he's in a dark place right now. He's going through some shit. I can love him out of that dark place.
You can love him from a distance.
Yeah, of course. But you still show that love. So when I was going through this, and this is a real example, when I was going through that, it's like I had to love him from a distance. But whenever he needed something, if it didn't hurt me, I did it. I just kept him at a distance, because I got to keep you at a distance until you heal. But whenever he needed something, if I could do it without it harming me, I'm going to do it every single time, because that is the whole point of having the shit. There's no point to have it if you're not going to be able to share it. And I think that we get in these spaces where, like you just said, I'm good, but I'm not great. You're going to always feel that way. I promise you that. Because every time you level up, you're going to be around people that are higher. And then you're going to feel like, I'm good, but I'm not great. You're going to be a comedian that is rocking with, this comedian. Then you're like, I'm not good, but I'm not great. You get here, now you rocking, now Mike Epps is your big homie. I'm good, but I'm not great. Cool. Now Chris Rock is your big homie. You're going to always feel that way.
But that's if you're comparing yourself. When I say I'm good, but I'm not great, meaning I do feel like there is a level and a cap that I could reach where I'm like, yo, I got this. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not comparing my success to other people to always be like, yeah, I'm good, but I'm great. What I'm saying is being in a financially stable place where I can't afford to take care of the closest immediate people that I feel like deserve for me to take care
No,
of.
1,000%, 1,000%. But I'm not saying you're comparing yourself to other
Yeah.
people. What I think you're comparing yourself to is what you want to do. So, like for instance, there's a version of you that whatever, I don't know what you're making now, but there's a version of you that wish they was making what you're making now. And now you're here and you're telling me that you're good, but you're not great. But there's a version of you that felt like where you're at right now is great. And there's nothing wrong with that because that's natural. So you're not comparing yourself to other people. You're comparing yourself to the circumstances you want. When you get to a point to where you can take care of your whole family, now you're going to be like, yeah, I want to take care of my whole family, but I also want to take care of my kids' kids. It's going to naturally just happen. And then when you get to that point, like you look at somebody like Hove. Hove is the most successful, probably one of the most successful black people to ever walk this planet. He's always trying to do something else. He had an interview where he said, like, he was like, every time I reach a pinnacle, I see another pinnacle. And it's not about seeing somebody else. It's about another circumstance that you want. Like, oh, I finally got my dream car, but on the way while getting my dream car, I saw that car, and now that's my dream car.
The heights never stop.
They never stop.
Picking your circle is very, very important,
1,000%.
right? And I think that when you decide that you're going to pick your circle at whatever point, term, moment of your life or success that you're in, that's when you really start seeing who weighs the most to you.
Yep.
Right?
Great.
So now, when you have your circle, there should never be somebody starving in your circle. I don't care what excuses you've made for them. If you're going to make an excuse for them for 10 years, you need to make the excuse for them until you decide that you need to cut them off.
Can I just say something to Rico?
Yeah.
This is a couple of things, right? I have a friend of mine. He got into the credit business, and he was repairing people's credits and everything. He started making a lot of money. He went and he got one of his friends. His friend was like, nah, put me on. He was like, nah, because, with credit, you could borrow money. You can make a lot of moves. This is not. His friend's like, yo, you kind of doing me dirty, bro. Come on, man. Put me on. He did it. Put him on. He gave him the connects. Dude got like $200,000. Got a DUI, crashed his car, left his girl, left his wife, destroyed his life. I'm not saying that because, and in my experience in life, I have, let's say, 10 friends, right?
Yep.
10 friends. We all started at zero. I'm talking about we all equally started at zero. Every time I have a hustle, I have a move, I put them on. They put me on. We're putting each other on. This is how it's going. I'm like, yo, Rico, what you doing? Yo, meet me in Brooklyn. Holiday, boom. And it's just going. And then you see when we're at the bottom, everybody could catch the ball. When we got to level 2, I'm like, yo, I got this. Some people start missing the ball.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, yo, pick up the ball. We're about to go to level 3. Pick up the ball. Pick up the ball. Now I'm going to your house. Pick up the ball. Pick up the ball.
Now I'm ringing the
My
doorbell.
other friends already went to level 3 now. I'm like, yo, pick up the ball. Pick up the ball. Now they're at level 4. I'm like, yo, bro, I'll be back. Now I go to level 4 with them. Now we throwing, and this is a real life thing.
Yeah.
Now it's only 4 of us from 10. But the 4 of us, you could call us NFL quarterbacks the way we throwing the ball at each other.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now my friend is like, yo, you're on level 8, bro. Put me on. I'm like, bro, I've been throwing you the ball your whole life.
Yeah.
And if I throw you a ball on level 8, I
Yeah.
am traveling at 110,000 miles an hour. I will be doing you a disservice. But if you're my friend and I need to take care of you for you to love me, then you're not my friend.
Hello.
But what are we talking about here? Are we talking about a friend or are we talking about our circle?
No, circle and no, friend.
But like,
real friend.
but this is what I'm saying, because and I'm just resulting back to the Jonah Lucas Broski video. There's only one friend there.
Yeah.
Like, I think we're missing it because we're internalizing
At
it.
that table, because maybe he has
No,
another
but
table.
no, that table was the table.
I don't want to take
Right,
away from
like-
Reason, because Reason got to leave in 10
No,
minutes.
you're good. But I get what you're saying. But I think for the sake of conversation, we can't look at just the Broski video. Although I completely agree with what you're saying about it. But I think that because the video is made to be a metaphorical example, we have to look at the table being bigger with more friends around. But to what you were saying as far as like that happening, Rico kind of said it, like, as that happens, that friend's going to naturally kind of come out of your circle. Not meaning that you're not friends anymore, but they're naturally kind of not going to be around anymore and different things like that. And at that point, you've done nothing wrong. I'm more speaking to the fact of not like giving multiple opportunities. That's what I'm more speaking to the fact of, is that I feel like you are indebted. You're indebted to give multiple opportunities when you are in place, as long as it doesn't hurt you. It's like the airplane thing, like, put your mask on before you put somebody else's mask on. If I put my mask on, if he need me to put his mask on 19 times and it's not gonna take my mask off, and this is my dog, I'm gonna try to put his mask on 19 times, because as long as it doesn't hurt me. Now, the moment I reach over there to put his mask on and it hurts me, then I got to keep my mask on. And that's kind of what you were saying about the level 4. Like you're on level 2 throwing, and now they're leaving you, so now it's hurting you. You have to, at that point, do something else and benefit yourself. You get what I'm saying? You have to.
I think
when do you cut the arm to save the body? That's my point.
Yeah.
Like, when do you cut the arm to save the body? If somebody that you know is hurting you, why have you not cut that arm yet?
Because they giving this pass, because you have been my friend for 20 years. Yeah. You have been my family member. You are my mama. You are my cousin. I love you. We was in the sandbox. We grew up. You watched me have nothing. All that. We use it. We're the problem. We're using all these excuses and keeping these people around instead of realizing the red flags. I have no problem saying no and choosing me first, because nothing else will move. Nothing else will operate, especially these people that you're talking about that are depending on these opportunities. I can't give them to you if I ain't right.
Yeah. And that's why I said they're both terrible friends.
The moment
I agree with you. When
like, they're both terrible. Like,
I thought that when I watched the video, I said the same thing. I was like, the things that he's describing, like, your friend should never go through those things. Now, it's different if your friend is going through those things after I've already multiple opportunities tried.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? Like, put my friend in position and different things like that.
Well, you only got a few. I think you got to go somewhere else after. But I want to talk about, your project and everything else, some questions. And then, just to repeat, Reason has no issue with a woman's body count. He said it does not bother him.
Well, we don't have enough time for this conversation.
But real men are not asking. I've never been on a date with a man.
We got at least 20 minutes. We got at least.
All right, I love it.
Okay, so I have never been on a date with a man that has ever asked me, yo, so I like you. I want to do this again. But before we do this again, how many men have you slept with?
Weird.
How many penises have you had in your mouth? Like, how many one night stands have you had? Like, it's a difference between, I think we're getting misunderstood with the fact of it being a big conversation. Then a man cares. He doesn't want to date a woman that her coochie is the topic of conversations when he walks in rooms with other men, or he's in rooms with people he doesn't even know, and they know what your box looked like before he's even saw it. I think those are the more of the red flags that men are like, I care about how many people you slept with. Yeah. That's when he cares.
Well, let's get this intro done.
When it starts
we can at least roll through that conversation.
We got 17 minutes now.
When it starts affecting him. But even in that case, right? Just being a woman, dating a man, and being somewhere where you might run into somebody I've slept with before. And unfortunately, I can't control him bragging or not bragging or having something foul to say. I'm really relying on the man to be very secure in our relationship and getting to know who I am. Because the moment he gets to know who I am, I don't think, but nobody says is going to move him.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. But do you want to open it up, Holiday?
Sure.
Go ahead.
We live in this world where the so-called men care about your body count. And that's been a conversation. I mean, I think we're beating a dead horse at this point, because I don't think men really care about your body count. Like I was saying to you, I feel like men care about how you are perceived in a room. You know what I mean? And how it is going to affect the longevity in whatever relationship you're trying to build with this person. So if I'm trying to build a sexual relationship or a love relationship with you, and every time I walk in a room, men are just telling me how they used to dog you out, it might affect me. But then again, it's no different than me dating the man who all these women are in my DMs now because I done posted him one time. And I'm like, this is my man. And they're like, oh, I done sucked his dick in the back of the cab before. And I remember 10 years ago, he let me do this. Or I remember when he ate my booty hole and all that. And I'm like, well, he's mine now. And I'm not worried about what you guys were doing then. Because he may be in a totally different space where he needed to do all of that to get that out of his system. I know I did. I had my whole phase. I had my one night stands. I had my sugar daddies. I'm more in a calm place now. But the man that I'm about to marry, he may get that news late.
Damn.
I'm gonna be real.
Like that's what we're trying to avoid.
I'm gonna be real. And how I feel is I don't feel like secure men care about a body count. I feel like what men care about is the perception of their woman. So I'll give you an example. If me and you are dating and you've only slept with 3 people before me, if I walk into a room and this is like a room of my associates that I'm always with, and all 3 of those men are in that room, it's gonna feel away.
It's the same.
It's gonna feel away. But you could have 80 bodies, but I'm never around all 80, and it doesn't matter. And so that's what I always tell men is like, you don't really care about her body count. You care about being associated with the people that are connected to her body count. You care about the representation of what your woman looks like when you walk in with her. But to me, any man that is like worried about an actual body count about niggas that they don't know, I feel like that's an insecure man.
You know how you could tell when somebody has money?
No.
Like,
Don't talk about it.
sometimes they don't have to.
That's real. Yeah.
Right? You can tell who got money. You can tell who don't. You can tell who's trying. You can tell who's on their way. I firmly believe that a lot of your life experiences shape you to be and act accordingly. Now, there are some people who can hide the fact that they got money very well. There's some women who can't hide their body count, no matter how hard they try. Because what happens is when you have a certain amount of life experiences, it starts to shape you to become something. You adapt different behaviors. You adapt things that you subconsciously don't even notice that you're exuding in the room by accident. Right? Now, I think that it's very important to limit your life's experiences in certain aspects. There's some people who is in the streets for so long, it does not matter how many opportunities you give them. You can't take the hood out of them.
They're going to do some street shit every time.
And the same thing with the body count, right? So them girls who...
She's going to do some whole shit.
She's going to do some whole shit. And then when you got to live with it, like, see, and that's the problem when you love somebody and have to live with a part of them that you do not like, because now you see where they're trying to go, but you're forgetting who they really are at their core. That's where it becomes conflicting. So I don't think it's so much about the body count.
And that was the point.
How big is that percentage?
That's the representation.
How
No,
big is that percentage?
it's really the representative,
Yeah.
right? It's like who they are. You
How
feel
big
me?
is that
That's what I meant.
percentage?
What?
Like, how many times, how often do you meet a woman like she's had a crazy past, and now she's with you, and you be like, she's a totally different person. Like,
The real question is, there's a lot of sleepers, right? And those are the ones that I say like are the only ones whose body count really don't matter, because you can never tell and you would never know.
Yep.
but what if
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so
1,000%.
Rico, so let's just take for example, right?
Let's take for example,
Let's use me.
Sukiana.
No, okay.
Right?
Suki's a bad example.
Like-
That's a bad example.
That's a real example.
Yeah, I'm about to say
Okay,
like
well, I know her.
she
I
is
know her
like
personally, right?
uh-huh.
And yes, she's done those things on OnlyFans, but it was with her man that she was engaged to that they chose to do that things. It wasn't random dicks. It wasn't her getting gang banged by 5-7 different men. So I just want to like just put the basis on it. Like it still doesn't define the type of woman that she.
Well,
would.
the reason why I was fine with using Sukiana, and I don't know her, so it's more about, like I was saying, that's what I meant about, it's not about the number, it's about
The perception?
the perception, the representation. So even if let's say that's Sukiana's only body, let's say that's her only body, I still don't want to walk in the room with Sukiana. Like, no offense to her.
Because the world has seen her box.
No, because
No.
because you've carried yourself that way. The world has seen Kim Kardashian's box. It don't affect her because she's rebuilt her brand and made herself into something else.
Well, the white rich men are
no,
like
you're-
she's the bottom of the barrel when it comes to white
I
women.
mean, whatever their
Just saying.
whatever their perception is. But my point is that you can build yourself into a way to where it doesn't matter. But right now, Sukiana's like what she is making her business on, and I'm not knocking her because I'm all for black people getting their money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But what she's made her representation in her brand is that. And so even if that was her only body, I don't want to walk into the room with Sukiana because me as a man, I don't. That's not who I want as my trophy.
So you
I
don't
want
think
that.
a man can make her an honest woman?
She might already be honest.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
this is her honesty.
Yeah, like, this is her honesty. But for me, a man that is similar to me could not make. I think that any man that is me personally, I think any man that is cool with making a woman that of that brand an honest woman, it's honestly, and people not gonna like it, it's new age pimping.
So
That's what it is.
porn stars
It's-
don't deserve love?
It's new age pimping. Like
Porn stars don't deserve love?
if you are making a porn star you're honest woman, and that is the brand that y'all are carrying, you're pimping. That is what you're doing. It is pimping. Pimping is when you deal with someone and you have them do sexual acts and you guys benefit off of it. That is pimping. We don't want to call it what it is, but that is pimping. They are in a collaborative pimp. That's what they.
All right, but
that's a whole lot of reasoning for you. Like that's a whole lot.
I hate that. Okay, I'm a woman with an extensive past, and I don't mean sexually. I mean I come from the great home, dad, the great upbringing, right? Everything, no daddy issues, no drugs, no nothing, right? Then I became a stripper, so I'm exposed to a whole nother lifestyle, right? I remember being in high school, and I remember dating this boy that everybody liked or whatever, and I had never given head. I had never done any of those things. I only kissed him and went to his house. Yeah. And the next day, it was a rumor around the school that I'm sucking dick now. Yeah. And that was in 8th grade.
That was early 2000s. That's how it used to work.
but just to carry that, the rest of my high school years, even I think it has even attached to me as an adult that I'm this promiscuous woman now. Yeah. This is what I do, and so now it's like almost like I'm buying into it myself now. Maybe I am promiscuous because everybody thinks the guys think I'm easy. Yeah. So it kind of hurt me because from this one person that I never even did anything with, because they've said these things, this is what it is. Now I'm watching all my friends graduate high school pregnant. I'm the only one still with no kids, no multiple baby daddies, but to them, they were the ideal girls because they weren't having sex. Yeah. They weren't fucking. They weren't outside. They didn't have a boisterous mouth. They didn't have all these things. But I was the real good girl. You understand what I'm saying? So it sucks because now I've worked so hard to rebrand myself for people that don't really matter. But now I walk into a room and I'm no longer, this is the girl from King of Diamonds Strip Club. This is Holiday podcast, artist, or whatever. And there's going to be those people from my past who will never, never, never let me live down the one night stand. They'll never let me live down the one time I fucked up and gave you some pussy and I knew and you really didn't deserve it because I didn't know no better. Yep. Nobody's going to let me live down these mistakes now. They're on Front Street now. Yeah. And I just feel like for the women who are going through that, the women who are being judged because you made a couple bad decisions. You know what I'm saying?
No, Holiday, it's not a couple. Like we're not gonna. This is where we stop. Okay. I was
about to get there.
I just dropped this gem on my Instagram, and I said your reputation is your only currency. It doesn't matter about how you feel. It doesn't matter if you did X, Y, and Z for 10 years, 5 years straight. You gotta own the fact that all those people that you decide to show yourself to in that light is going to be trickled down for the rest of your life to other people. When I was a server back when I was 20 years old, they said one bad experience at this restaurant reaches out to 100 people. One good experience reaches out to 10. So now if you're putting yourself in a negative light and you want to now rebrand yourself and not be attached to who you were, what you need to do before you even do that is understand how long is it going to take and how far is it going to go with each and every action. You put a stain on your rep, you put a stain on your brand, you put a stain on your on just your image alone, and then you want to, not you, but then they want to be upset about what the world sees you as. Right. It's easy to say, don't care what people say. It's harder to live with what they're saying. But when
does that get old? When do you allow me to be the person that I'm no longer that person?
Well, that's what I was going to say.
When do you stop? I was a stripper, right? Yeah. When I was a stripper. So I'm in the club, naturally, I'm in a thong. Guys walk up, grab ass, touch titties. Yep. It's comfortable. Now, I'm not dancing no more. I'm at a pool party. Guy walks up, grabs ass. Yo, what's up? And naturally, I want to punch him in his face. You violate me. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? But I also had to remember this is where he knew me from. Yeah. So now I have to have a conversation and let you know, sweetheart, he's like, what you getting mad for? Oh, you acting different. Because I am different. Yeah. And you're going to have to respect that or you will no longer be invited into my space. I get it. I used to be a dancer. I used to be able to walk up on me and do those things. I'm not in the club anymore. Yeah. And that's not how I'm moving. And it's going to, unfortunately, from my experience, it's going to take a lot of people to catch up. And so they're going to either get disrespected in the end or it's not going to end well with it for everybody because everybody's not ready to watch you grow. Yeah. They want you to stay the same person that they met. And unfortunately, you don't know me anymore.
Well, that's what I was going to say is that it's going to take you doing those things. Like, just like you said, one positive experiences reaches out to 10 people. One negative reaches out to 100 people. So it's going to take you doing those things to be able to rebrand the rules of how to interact with you. But at the end of the day, like we live in a world now where because of social media, because of where social media is and everything is so so don't want to offend anybody. Women specifically are not held accountable. Women are not held accountable for anything that they do. So it's like if Rico is a thief,
Is that how you feel, Reason?
it is. I'm explaining to you.
Okay.
If Rico is a thief, and he was a thief 10 years ago, and then he come over to my house and he's changed, I'm not about to leave my jewelry out in front of this nigga. This nigga was a thief.
Right.
And you would think that is perfectly, that's perfectly logical. But then when it's a woman that was, a stripper 10 years ago or whatever the case may be, it's like, they're like, no, just because of that, like, you shouldn't treat her like that. Like, it's accountability. Like, we have to, like, you just said, like, they thought that I was promiscuous. There is a part of you that was promiscuous.
Right.
That's just a fact because you like to do certain things. You might not be in that space anymore, and that's great. But you cannot dodge, and I'm not saying you're trying to, I'm saying speaking to the person, you can't dodge the accountability of the fact that, like, no, I was a promiscuous person. So everybody in that space that knew me in that space, they are going to look
Remind
at me that
you.
way. Yeah, they're going to remind you of
Absolutely.
that, and you're going to have to keep fighting out of that. And because we're in a social media world where every single
Nobody lets you
genre
live
person
anything
is,
down.
and every single genre person is protected, nobody wants to be accountable. Fat people don't want to be accountable. Promiscuous people don't want to be accountable. Nobody wants to be accountable.
But what about when you are taking the accountability and say, hey, okay, this was who I was. This is what I did.
Well,
and if I hadn't been this person, I wouldn't know what I'm glad that I went through those things, right?
Yeah.
Because then when you get into these situations in your adulthood and into real life situations, you know how to handle yourself in certain rooms, in certain environments. Like you don't react not without talking so much about what I just went through.
Yeah.
Like the girl 15 years ago, you even look at me wrong, I'm slapping your head off, right?
Yeah.
But that kept me out of a lot of rooms.
Yeah.
So now, fast forward, I'm in a position where I'm around a bunch of people who are deliberately trying to bring me out of my character. You understand? And I could easily result back to the 15 year ago, girl.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. So I'm gonna tell you what my therapist told me. I was going through couples
Black man in therapy.
I was going through couples therapy at a point, and he said he was
therapy.
Yeah, I was single therapy and couples therapy. But he told me, he was like, how long was were you unfaithful? I was like, X amount of time. He was like, yeah, X amount, X amount.
Got it.
That means the whole time.
X amount of time. How long were you unfaithful? X amount of time. Well, you need to be faithful twice as long for her to feel comfortable.
Yes.
That's so when you're asking that question, well, I'm not that person no more. How long does it take? It take twice as long to get that off. So if you were, a dancer or maybe on OnlyFans for 3 years, it might take you 6 years of walking and being a complete boss, not doing nothing at all.
For people to forget.
For people to be like, well, they're not gonna forget.
Your math
But
is-
for
your
them
math
to
is
be able,
mathing.
but for them to be able to respect it. That's why I bring up Kim, even though I'm not the biggest Kardashian supporter. I bring it up because this is a woman that had a sex tape and has basically erased the sex tape.
No.
And I'm not saying that it's not because of advantages she has because she's white and rich.
But
and
it's
all
not
that.
erased.
I'm saying it's erased to the point of there are wealthy status men that will date her that would never date a woman that had a sex tape. It's erased in that way. Like there are wealthy men that will date her and be proud to walk in the rooms with her, even though there's a video of her
With cock in her mouth.
Exactly.
It was great listening to you guys from behind the camera today. Great segment. But before we end it, we just want to ask you some icebreaker questions and answer very truthfully.
Okay.
No bullshit. So first question is, if you could go to dinner with anybody, dead or alive, who would it be?
If I could go to dinner with anyone, dead or alive,
I'm not on the menu, okay?
that X's out my first answer. Honestly, I would, and this is cliche because they just had this in the headlines, but I'll go with Jay-Z. That's who I would go with. I'll go with Jay-Z. I feel like now if they offer me the 500,000 or Jay-Z, I'm taking the 500,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm taking the 500,000. But if I could choose to go I would go with Jay-Z. I feel like his way of overcoming all them circumstances, like you have to be able to get a gym. And I would be going in there to convince the nigga to give me an opportunity to make some Jay-Z money. Like I would go in there not even asking for advice. I'm asking for opportunities.
Opportunities is fine.
Straight up.
Opportunities is smart thinking.
I'm asking for
actually.
opportunities. I do not want to know how you got where you got. I know already. You rapped about it. I'm
Right.
good. Yeah.
17 albums.
Blueprint 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, I can remind you how you got there. But let's talk about something else. Yeah.
Okay. Second question is, if you had 24 hours to live and you can have a sexual encounter with anyone on the earth, who would it be?
Meg Thee Stallion. Easy.
Meg Thee Stallion?
Really?
I need to know if the videos that I'm seeing, if it matches up to the situation.
No, she really did have a good video the other day.
She's had a lot. I got a few good videos. She's had
It
a
was
few
a
good
recent
videos.
video.
I gotta
It's
know
really
if
good.
it. I gotta know if it matches up. And a lot of times it don't be matching up. A lot of times you see these videos and then you end up having sex. It don't match
Do you
up.
think? I'm not speaking on her box 'cause I never
Yeah.
had it.
Yeah.
But
Me either.
but
Ditto.
I like to believe because I'm a woman of like what I preach, I live, and I
Yeah.
feel like no, sex is not like the only keeper. But when you got a good box, you got good box.
Oh no, I always.
and I just feel
yeah.
like
I tell the homies,
relationships
nobody
are
gets
not lasting.
Nobody gets more chances.
I would've
than
heard
a woman
it.
with good box.
Yeah,
Nobody
yeah.
gets more chances than a woman with good box. Nobody does.
Right, and I don't. Oh, okay. Well, so much for that one.
I see where
Oh,
you were
you was
going
about to
with
go.
that,
Oh yeah,
but-
you was about to go crazy.
No.
I'm cool.
Same, maybe the box ain't hitting.
Okay, last one, super simple. What's your go-to drink?
Tequila, specifically De Leon Reposado. Best tequila out there for me.
Okay, Diddy,
Yeah.
drop the budget on them.
Yeah. Diddy, give me. I don't even need the money. Just send the.
No, we need the
case.
money. I'm
Just send
managing
the
him
case.
now. We definitely,
I meant
definitely need the money, Diddy. He got it.
Okay, that concludes the icebreakers.
Well, everybody, this was dope. I mean, my boy Reasons came over here. At first, I didn't know what's his reasoning with his body count, but he has some pretty good reasons. I want to say I appreciate you. One more time, go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you at and what's going on so we can, make sure that they stay up to date and refresh with it. You know?
You can find all my music on all the DSPs, Apple Music, Tidal, Spotify. Just type in Reason, it'll pop up. And then all social medias, I'm Reason TDE. It's spelled exactly how it sounds. I did not get creative. I know black people be throwing Z's in there and everything, but it's just Reason TDE. That's what it is.
But thank you for pulling up. We definitely appreciate you, man. God bless. And as soon as that, hopefully I can get an early release.
Yeah,
we can do that.
All right, bet.
I got an idea for a record. I got an idea for a record for you. It should be called 21 Reasons.
Okay, 21 Reasons.
Yeah, and you just talking about 21 reasons to live.
I thought you was gonna say sample the reasons.
Yes,
you know
you
how many
should.
times I've heard that?
Yeah.
I've heard
I
that
need
at
you to do
least
Nivea.
500 times. Yeah,
Nivea's 21 Reasons.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about Earth, Wind, and Fire. Yeah, Earth, Wind, and Fire. The
All right, and then I got a suggestion too. my last suggestion before we sign off for a song is gonna be called 8 Tables.
Hey, Taylor.
We're gonna talk about the different types of 8 people that there are that sitting at different tables.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time here at 8 at the Table. Keep liking, supporting, and subscribing. We need all of it.